What's up again, guys? Well, gonna start getting started on my water cooling build, but before I do that, the H70 and all the rest of my stuff has to come out. So, take my little bracket here off that holds the video card in place. Disconnect the video card. Let me grab a screwdriver here. There we go. Oop. There's the video card. We'll put that up here. Move the Xbox controller and we'll just gently place that there. And then grab the screw that fell. There we go. Now I am going to be taking my motherboard and everything out to test for leaks and whatnot. So, but before we do any of that, might as well get the fans here out. Gotta make sure not to lose any of this stuff because I'm going to be selling this thing on eBay. So if anybody's interested in an H70, I'm going to be selling it for 70 bucks. I think that's a fair price since I haven't used it more than a month, maybe two. It still works very, very good. It's just not good for extreme overclocking, like I want to do, which is why I upgraded to a real water cooling system. Alright. And there we go. So that's one fan out. Now we're going to undo the actual block itself here. Trying to hold this camera and doing all this is a lot harder than you would think. Okay. I think that one's out. This thing was a kind of a bitch to get in, just because it doesn't have the stickiness on the back plate anymore, since I had to reuse it, since MSI decided to start on fire. Doesn't make me really trust MSI anymore. Not saying they're a bad company, but the way they tried to pin it on me, making it seem like it was my fault and that I broke it all myself, was kind of dumb. There we go. And then I want to take this out delicately, so I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, we got that out now. So all that's left is to clean the CPU off and get the motherboard off. And here's the Corsair itself. Gonna have to clean that off for the next person. That's definitely, you don't want to use that again. Otherwise you will get very, very bad temps, that is for sure. So let's go ahead and disconnect the power to everything. There we go. is a SATA, another SATA. Front panel audio, firewire, USB, that's a fan, all the front panel connectors. Get the other fan off of there. There we go. And everything is now disconnected from the motherboard. Besides the RAM, which I'm just going to leave in there because it doesn't need to come out. Now let's get on to taking out the motherboard here. A little screw hiding down here. Actually, you know what? Instead of wasting time showing you guys how to take a motherboard out, everybody who's doing water cooling probably has gotten that far already, so I'm just going to finish taking the motherboard out and all that crap off camera. I'll just be more specific and do more stuff on camera once I actually start putting the water cooling in. Okay, got the motherboard out here. And now, there's the rest of the stuff that goes with the H70. So now it's time to, where'd my little, here we go. Time to do the AMD mounting kit. Because I'm going to put the motherboard in there, you know, just as a reference. I'm not going to bolt it in or nothing. Oh, I guess first before I do that, I should show my case this little trick that it has here for water cooling. Take that little screw out. Now I believe in some way, shape, or form this back here comes off. And it's got these little brackets here for the radiator to connect to. And it just sits on the back of my case. So, I've never taken this off before, and I don't want to break it, so I'm going to do that off camera, where I can use both hands. Okay, and there's the protective back over there. Now we've got it off, we've got holes for the water tubes to pass through. And then we've got little screw holes to tie those little brackets I showed you earlier too. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll get the radiator mounted on the back here with the fans and all that. Oh, okay, well we got the radiator mounted on the back here. Don't move none. Now it's time to mount the fans. Okay, so we got all of our Scythe General Typhoon fans. These again are the 1850 RPM versions versus the 1450 version. And in my case has little holes right there, and there for the wires to pass through. And then I can just use my extenders that I bought, and I'll be good for fans. Now I'm going to install the barbs on it. Now see, I like that. They took the time to wrap them all up so they don't get all scratched up. So it's still nice and shiny. But anyway, let's get these installed on the radiator. Okay, we got the barbs on. Now what you're going to want to do with these is, from what I've been seeing and reading online, is screw them in hand tight, and then just give them a couple turns with a wrench until they are snug. You do not want to over tighten them because you will strip the inside of the radiator or whatever else it is you're screwing into. You'll strip the threads. So you don't want to do that. You gotta do it. Just tighten them until they're snug. So now it's time to put the motherboard back in and see what's up with the water block, so I can start measuring how long my tubes need to be and whatnot. Okay, well we got the front on, and I hot glue gunned in the little blue LED. So now it's time to put the barbs in this, and I'll actually do that on camera. Maybe. There we go. Now this is acrylic, so you gotta be really, really careful. I wrap these up all nice so they don't get all scratched. That was nice of them. Alright, get them snug, hand tight. And then just give them a tiny, tiny little turn. There we go. Now that's in there but good. And there we go. Alright, that one looks like it might need a tiny little turn more. There we go. Okay, now those are in there. Now it's time to mount that thing inside my case so I can measure how much tube I need to go from that to the CPU water block. There we go. We've got it all mounted in there so it won't move. And now I just have to measure the tubing length. Okay, now we're going to put the barbs on the water block here. I've already got my AM3 bracket on there. So there we go. They're on there. Now I'm just going to tighten those up off camera. And now I'm going to get to installing it onto the motherboard. Okay, I'm going to show you guys how to install this on an AM3 motherboard since I haven't seen any of them on YouTube on how to do that. Not a single video. Now the kit comes with obviously the block, but when you get the block it's going to have, I believe this is for a 775 socket, Intel, but it has these little screws and it comes with a little tiny Allen wrench, and you just very gently take those out and then put this, the AM3 bracket over the top of it. And then what you're going to want to do is it comes with 4 screws. There is no backplate for this one. It comes with some nylon washers, so you're going to want to put 2 on each of these long screws. I've already got 3 of them done. And now I'm going to turn the motherboard over here. I'm going to put it on my lap so you guys can see what to do. And then just drop it through the hole like that. I'm going to set the camera down for a second because I don't want to mishandle my motherboard here. And then you're going to take another nylon washer. Mind you, there's no instructions for this. This is just how I assume it goes on. And you're going to put it over that like that. And then it comes with these little nuts. And you're just going to want to see if I can get this camera to stay up here. And actually let me bend it. There we go. Now I should be able to do this, and hopefully the camera won't fall like it just did. Okay. Okay. And then just screw it on like that. I'm going to put this motherboard back on my lap for a sec. So I actually have a place to put my camera where it hopefully won't fall. There we go, now I can use both hands. And then just get it snug for now. And there you go. And then you should have something like this. Then you're gonna want to go get a wrench, which I still need to go get, and then tighten those down. So I'm gonna go get a wrench and do that. Okay, so those little bolts are 7mm bolts, so you need either a 7mm wrench or a socket, deep well socket. A normal one will not work because it's not long enough to go over the screw. But now we've got them all down. Now what you're going to want to do is the kit also comes with these little springs. So you're going to want to drop those over all of these just like this. And then after that, you are going to want to I'm just going to show you guys how to install this. I'm not actually, going to do this yet. But you're going to want to put it over your CPU like that. And then it comes with these little thumb screws. And then you're just going to, put them over them like that. And then go in a star pattern. Don't tighten them all down all at once, or it's not gonna. The thermal paste won't, be good. You're gonna squish it all out on one side, and it's gonna be uneven. But I need to go and put thermal paste on there, so I'm not actually going to, screw this down on camera. But now you guys should get the general idea on how to install the AM3 bracket. So I'm going to take this back off, and I'm going to. You gotta take this little protective plastic off the bottom of this. Don't forget to do that. But I'm gonna go ahead and put my thermal paste on my processor. I already got it all cleaned off. And then I'm gonna tighten this down, and then we'll get on with our water cooling video here. And that's what it looks like when it's on. Now, like I said before, you're gonna want to tighten these in a star pattern. Just turn it in one a few times, turn this a few times. An even amount of times until it's snug. You don't want to over tighten it. But now it's seated on there just great. And now I'm gonna put the motherboard back in the computer case here, and then we'll get to putting the tubing in. Okay, we got the motherboard all screwed back in. Now I'm not going to be installing my video card and all that stuff. I'm going to leave everything but the water cooling system unplugged. Nothing else will be getting power besides the pump. So that's that. So now I'm going to go unplug everything else, like my CD drive and my hard drives. And then we're going to I'm going to install the tubing. Okay, now we're going to move on to tubing. Now what you're going to want to do with this is, you're going to want to measure the length out. Always give yourself a little bit extra, because you can always cut a little bit more off, but you can't add more back on. So this is basically how I'm going to have it running. I can probably cut a little bit more off of there, but I'm not going to, just because I don't want to stress the loop, or not the loop, I don't want to stress the tubing, because you don't want it to kink. And this is going to be hidden in the back anyway. So basically, and then after that, this kit comes with these little plastic things, which I'm just going to use because I think they'll work good enough. But if you want, you can get these little metal clamps. Okay, let me get this camera positioned here so you guys can see what I'm doing. And then you're just going to want to take the little thing, and there's the end. Just place it on there somewhere. And then you're just going to want to work the tubing. Whoops. You're just going to want to work the tubing onto the barb. I can't really see with my light here, so I'm going to get my Droid X. And you're going to want it to go all the way until it touches the other end of the barb. You don't want any space between the end of the barb and where it starts. And then after that, you just roll one of those down there. And then you're going to want to get some pliers and give it one more little, push. So I think I've got some pliers in my room here. I found some out in the hallway. Okay, sorry for the delay there. Then you're going to want to just give it one more little tug, and now that should not come off of there. And then just repeat that same process on the rest of the barbs. And now I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of my tubing on, and then we'll get to filling the system and showing you guys how to get all the air bubbles out and whatnot. And there we go, we've got all the tubing in. My case is a little weird, so it doesn't really look all that nice, but I'm not all that concerned about niceness. I still think it looks alright. I still have to tuck some wires and whatnot, but I think it looks pretty good, especially for my first water cooling. Now I'm just gonna like take my RAM out and whatnot, and take my hard drives out, and unplug my DVD drive, and then I'm going to show you guys how to fill this up with coolant, for those of you who don't know. So I'm going to hop to that. Okay, we got all of the fans here all hooked up. Yes, I know the back of this is a mess. Kind of makes me wish I had a different kind of power supply so I could just pick and choose, but 1250 watts for 150 bucks was too good of a deal to pass up. Now I won't ever have to upgrade that power supply till it dies, or until they come out with some ridiculous stuff. But anyway, enough rambling, let's start filling this thing up with some water. Okay guys, now it's time to finally fill the system. Now, you're going to want to put this onto your motherboard's 24-pin connector. Or if you are doing something that doesn't come with one of these, all you have to do is take a paper clip and put it in the green lead and then any other black lead, which is a ground. So I still have to put this in before I start going, but I'm going to install the coolant first. I decided to get me some PC ice that's just clear, nothing fancy, because I heard that all the dyes and whatnot just gum everything up. If I wanted to, I'll probably make it look cooler by getting some colored tubing with some UV lights later, but for now, we're just going to add this to the system. Okay, that's good enough for now. Now I'm going to turn the camera off and hook the little connector I got here up to my power supply and plug my power supply in. Now I do not have a switching power supply, so I'm going to also have to hook up a some sort of strip with a switch so I can switch it on and off. But most other power supplies have a little switch on the back, and you'll just switch it on and off, refill the coolant, and then turn it back on, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go get all that stuff, and then I'll come back, turn the camera back on. Okay, well, I got my 24-pin connector all connected. Now, while I was gone, some of the coolant started going in the tubes. So, now we're going to turn it on real quick, let it cycle. And the pump isn't working. Alright, I'm going to see what's up with the pump, and then turn the camera back on. Might just have a dead pump here. That would piss me off. Okay, the pump wasn't quite plugged in all the way on one of the Molex connectors, so fill that back up, turn it back on. Turn it back off. And from there, all you gotta do is you gotta move your case all around to get rid of all the air bubbles that are in there, and just keep filling it up. When it dips down too low, when it starts making, the pump will start making a funny noise when it's just sucking in air. So I'm going to go ahead and continue filling this up and moving it around, make sure it's all, good. So far I don't see any leaks, but I'm going to let this go for quite a long time before I, probably overnight, I'll let it run right here until I go to bed, and if there's no leaks, then tomorrow I'll probably connect everything back together when I wake up, and then we'll go from there, and we'll do some temp videos and whatnot, and see how far we can overclock this Phenom or Phenom, whichever you want to prefer. I get yelled at no matter what way I pronounce it. So pronounce it how you like, but we'll see how far we can get that X6 processor up. Right now we're at 4.2 gigahertz. Hopefully I can get to 4.4, 4.3, maybe even 4.5, probably not, but we'll see what goes on. So anyway, I'm going to shut the camera back off and start filling this up, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I might add on to this video a little bit more, I don't know, but we'll see. So I'm going to turn the camera back off and get this thing completely full and air all out of it and whatnot. Okay, now you're going to want to shake it around a little bit, and you'll see lots of little air bubbles getting out or going up and down the tubes. But basically what you want to do is you want to get all the air bubbles out, and if you see giant air pockets, you're going to want to get those out as well. Now the pump vibrates a little bit, at least mine does. But basically you're going to want to just let it run and check for leaks. I'm going to put some papers down here so I can, see if it's dripping or whatnot. So far, nothing. But, alright, that's going to do it for this video. Just remember to, I probably need to put a little bit more in there. It's starting to drop down, but just keep filling with it, and eventually all the air bubbles will go away, and then you're just going to want to let it run for, overnight, 12 hours, 6 hours or something, until you feel safe to put all of your components back in. And then once that happens, then you'll be done with your water cooling. Just remember to look out for leaks. So that's going to conclude this video. I know it's been lengthy, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I don't know if I did a great job on it or not, but hopefully I did alright. So once I get this all, leak tested and whatnot, I'll do another video on temps and all that stuff. So till then, peace out, guys.